So Rocket Roll comes out in 2 days, which is very exciting. How are you feeling?
I feel good. I don't have any like album release party or show. Like the first show we're doing is in like 2 weeks, but I don't know, it'd be nice to just like chill and just like go to dinner with some friends and celebrate that way. It's like takes a little bit of the pressure off of like the day that it comes out. But yeah, I'm excited.
What's been your favorite part of the process this time around?
I think just like the way that my band and I recorded was very different than my first record. You know, it was more like live tracking and the studio that we were at, we were able to like stay above the studio in like an apartment. So that was kind of cool. We just like, we're basically like living there. We could like come down at 2 in the morning if we wanted to. So yeah, it was just like a very sweet, intimate experience. And the recording was like 2 or 3 weeks versus like a couple of months. So that felt good.
That sounds really cool. I love the idea of living above where the recording studio is.
I know that's like my dream apartment.
Were there any big challenges along the way? Was there anything that was like particularly difficult that maybe you didn't expect? Any hurdles?
That's funny. Not a ton. Like it was actually pretty smooth because one of my mottos, like during this whole process, was that if things are like frustrating or like sticking for some reason, then I have to like move away from it. And it's just like not meant to be on the project. So there were like a couple songs that I would have loved to have had on this record, but when we were like trying to find arrangements for them, they just weren't coming together. And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want any frustration around this project. Like, it's not meant to be on this album. So maybe that, or, I don't know, like, I really wanted to put it out in June, and we started recording in December. So it was a little bit of a quick turnaround, just based on my own deadlines I'm giving myself. So yeah, like I guess that can induce some stress, but otherwise it's really great. I'm really like happy with the process. I think it was just so fun overall.
Oh, brilliant. Do you have any like music that you listen to like help you relax when things are getting stressful? What's like your go-to when you need to chill?
Hmm. I don't know. I think the way that I listen to music nowadays is like whatever I've found that week or the last 2 weeks, I'm just like playing it over and over. I'm like one of those people that I'm not like scattering my, catalog of music and just listening to like some of it. Some days I'm like obsessed with a song for 2 weeks and then I like can't listen to it again. So I don't know, whatever I've been listening to for the past 2 weeks is what I'm listening to.
You're hyper fixating on in the moment.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm just like obsessed with it and then I'm like, I've heard it too much.
I get that like that with songs on the radio all the time. Like I'm like, oh, that's quite cool. And then after I've heard it,
Yeah.
no, I can't do it anymore. I can't.
When I really like a project, I like really force myself not to do that so that I like Clairo's Charm or like even Addison Rae's new record. I'm really enjoying it and I'm like trying not to overplay it because I don't want to get sick of it. But yeah.
Totally sucked in and like absorbed completely.
I know. I mean, like you want to at the same like, and especially her record, like she has all the visuals and stuff. I don't know. I think it's fun, that album.
Yeah, no, it is really fun. I agree. And there's 3 singles that have come out in anticipation of the record, which are all great. I love them, and I want to talk about them a little bit more in a wee bit. But how did you select those 3 specifically? What was the process there? Was it just a gut feeling that those were the ones you wanted first?
Well, I knew that Love Song was going to be the first single just because that feels like the lead single. It's like the first song off the record too. It just has like a nice inviting energy, like, oh, what is the rest of the project going to sound like? And then California Feather was the second single. That one I went back and forth on, but we had a music video for it. So I just thought, that would be nice for it to be a single and have a video. And then Hard to Believe just has this fun little rap in it. And I was like, oh, I think people might like this. And that's why. I really had a hard time picking the singles. And I don't think I'm good at picking singles. I think I just like, I don't know. I think about them from like an artist perspective, not like a consumer perspective. So I don't know. I don't even know how I picked them. It just happened to be that way. And like my last record, I did like the first 3 songs were the singles for that project too. So I don't know. That's a good question because it really is not like something that was really premeditated. It just happened to be.
Just touching on what you said there about the like thinking of it from an artist perspective, do you,
Yeah.
when you're in your writing process, do you kind of think from a listener's perspective when you're doing that, or are you totally in it like for, you know, you've got this idea and that's for you and that's what you're doing?
I mean, when it comes to writing, it's always for myself. It's never like, oh, what could be cool here? Um, but going back on kind of what I just said, like I do have a music business background. So like some decisions, I guess I'm thinking about like, I don't know, like how it will perform at the show, perhaps. But maybe, I don't know. I think like I'd rather be true to my own vision than like have somebody else's opinion influencing the overall product, you know, at the end. So I don't know. I'm gonna say no. You know, I'm mostly just like vibing with what I'm vibing with.
Yeah, no, I think that's great.
But
And
yeah,
Love Song 100 and California Feather, I feel like they're very like sonically similar. I feel like they're very like romantic and joyful, and I think really nostalgic. For me, they have that vibe definitely. And then, as you mentioned already, like Hard to Believe feels kind of out on its own, like it's so jazzy, and then of course there's the rap in it as well. Like,
yeah.
how did that kind of come about? Because obviously it's very different from the other ones. Or did you decide for the album that like it doesn't, like you don't want it to have one cohesive thread and it can just be whatever happens happens? How did that sort of come about?
Well, I liked that comparative or comparing to Lady and the Champs, which was so like singer-songwriter, you know, like very like lead vocal at the top, not a lot of background vocals, you know. I wanted it to be a little bit more rock influenced, which is kind of why I called the record Rocket Roll. And there is like one very harder sounding song on the record. It's called Matador. But I don't know. I think I like to just see where the song wants to go. I'm not like pigeonholing myself into one aesthetic. And Hard to Believe, I think that piano is really influencing the tone of the song and the genre that it wants to go in, and that's due to my like amazing piano player who does a lot of Latin music. And so like I took some influence from him and I was like, you know, this is in D minor, like you kind of slay, you know, with all these, you know, like Latin songs that you're playing with your other bands, you know, like would you want to just kind of like go off? And I think the piano made a huge difference of why it maybe sounds different than Love Song or California Feather. But I think it's like a unicorn in my discography with the rap and having like this different vibe. So I don't know. I'm not like so worried about the genre.
No, no, and I think it can also be a bit detrimental to kind of put yourself in a box as well. Like, you know, you want to
Totally.
explore things and, you know, try different styles. And I think just touching on what you said there, I think it's really so important to be able to have those experiences with other musicians, because like they can also bring so much to the table when you think you've got that like final idea, and then
Yeah.
you come in with different experiences and say, oh, what if we do it this way, and it can change like everything.
So much. Yeah. And I think the thing that will thread this album together is that all the same instruments are pretty much on every single song. So whereas like in Lady and the Champs, like we had some programmed drums and we had, you know, a lot of pedal steel, and you know, it just we were trying a lot of different stuff, whereas this is like same band, same week, running it, and yeah, I think it's created a cool world. At least I hope.
And do your live shows go similarly? Like, do you have the same band for the live shows every time, or is it different people, different sets?
I try to have the same band due to like scheduling stuff. It doesn't always work. Like this summer, my drummer's away the whole summer, and my piano player is not able to join us because he has some family that's sick, so he's visiting them. So I've had to like rearrange a little bit and just maybe do shows without piano and have a new drummer come, which is a little bit stressful because I would love to play these songs as they were recorded with the same people, but it doesn't always work out. But yes, usually when I have it my way, it's all the same players.
And when you were writing this album, was there any like themes, questions, feelings that were kind of resurfacing every time? Like, is there like, not necessarily sonically, but kind of like content-wise, was there any kind of thread between the songs this time around?
You know, it's funny. Like, I am not really thinking about that when I'm picking songs for the album, but my friend Sovi, who was listening to it, a couple months ago, and she was like, what's so funny is all of these songs are sort of, they're making fun at a subject that maybe someone else could write like a really sad or mad song about. Like, you're kind of like putting a nice little twist on these things and not taking them so seriously, even though it's like heartbreak or like not being able to change who you are, or some sort of relationship ending topic. It's just like, you're, if you were listening to the song without listening to the words, you might not know what that was about. So I think, I don't know, maybe it's just like turning these like hard topics on their head and making fun at it, and I don't know. I think that's the theme.
No, and I love songs like that. Like, I was interviewing a London band a few weeks ago called Tugboat Captain, who are really small, but they are so good. And
I'll look them up.
They're really good. And their new album that came out last month, it has songs like that on it as well, where like if you were just having it on in the background, like you would never think, like, it's so uplifting and really cute.
Yeah.
And when you actually listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh my god, wow, it's like deep. Like,
it's surprise.
That, like, podcast. I think it's great. It's so interesting to listen to. How do you think your identity as an artist, like, how do you feel that that's kind of changed? Like, do you think there's a lot that's still the same, or do you really see that you've grown a lot as an artist and things have changed since when you first started till now?
I think I've changed a lot in the last 2 years. I think I just like know myself better, and I know a lot more about the process of band directing and recording and engineering. Like, I produced this album myself, which is the first time I've done that. And I think before I didn't have the confidence to like say that I was doing it, even though like I would be like co-producing with somebody. I just was like, oh, there's things that I don't know, and I don't want to like, I don't know, like miss something because I'm not like equipped. But I think like after doing it for 2 years, I was like, let me try this. And if, I feel uncomfortable while I'm doing it, I can always pull someone in. But I think like, I don't know, I feel very confident and comfortable with moving forward that I could and can produce my own music. So I think that's like a big difference from past projects.
And that's brilliant. I mean, that must have been quite a big leap, like, and quite daunting maybe going into that yourself, but also quite liberating, I imagine.
Totally. I mean, I think like when you have a partner like working on something with you, the biggest advantage is just having someone else's mind accessible to you, making these like really intimate choices about a song. So I think like that's the downside of not having a collaborator in that way. But if you're like, bouncing ideas off of, the other people in the room, which are the instrumentalists and the engineers, and even the guy that owns the studio, he would come into our sessions and just be like, what are you working on? Like, oh, like this would be cool here. And just like having fun, not taking it so seriously, and like, everyone's an equal and their ideas are equal in the room. So I think like I lean on my band and people in my life a lot. So that helped, definitely.
Oh, that sounds like it was a really nice process then, because
it was fun.
A couple of people that have been doing it themselves, maybe not through choice so much, but just kind of out of necessity, and it doesn't sound as relaxing and like, nice as that. So I'm really pleased at that. Well, what would you say in general is like your biggest like creative influence? Like, what's like feeding you when you're writing? Is it like poetry, film, other music? Like, what's your biggest influence? Kind of thing.
Honestly, and this sounds so narcissistic, but it's just like figuring myself out. Like, that is always the inspiration of like to even pick up the guitar. It's like I have something that's going on inside my mind that I don't understand, and like, I'm trying to like help myself understand the situation I'm in. So that's always like the motivator, I guess, to like begin the process. But then I think after the song is written, the motivator is like, I want to just like keep making, I have so much fun doing this. Like, this is like, I feel like a big purpose in my life is to like create music. So when I'm on this path, I feel very aligned with what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's the motivator.
And so you would you say then that it's your songs for your more like processing things and feelings that have happened and that you're feeling rather than like sort of capturing a snapshot of a memory? Is it more processing those memories and that feeling?
Yeah, and I think that recently, like in the past year or two, I've really been able to like separate maybe this thing that happened to me that I can't understand and not really feeling attached to having that situation be literally in the song, but maybe using that emotion as like a catalyst to figure out, this other thing that I want to describe that gets at it, but isn't like a reflection of what happened. Like you wouldn't even know what song is about what thing if I told you, because it just takes on a life of its own, and I'm okay leaving that behind to create something new. Whereas I think some people, like, they really want the songs to like be about this thing that happened to them, and it's so raw because it's so like connected to the specific interaction or whatever. And of course I have songs like that too, but sometimes I think the past year I've been able to just like be inspired by it and then move on from it.
And that must be really therapeutic, writing like that as well, though, and like not getting too like caught up in it, but just using it as as you say, the catalyst for everything that comes.
It's freeing too, because then I don't feel like it's this like really vulnerable thing that I'm exposing to the world. It's like, oh, actually this song, it's kind of about my life, kind of not, and I'm okay with that. It's easier to share.
Yeah, like a problem shared is a problem halved,
Totally.
Have you ever had writer's block before? Like, did you have it when you're doing this album or in the past? And if so, how do you best manage that when it happens? If it's happened.
I've said this a lot recently, but writer's block, I feel like when a song is like not coming to me very easily, then I just put it down and I'm just like, I'm not trying to force it. I never put pressure on myself to write because usually is not going to be coming through. So I really like writer's block. If I'm feeling writer's block, I'm just like that. I'm not in a season of my life where I'm writing songs right now. And I got to go experience life to be able to then be inspired to write a song. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about writer's block. I've gotten that question a lot and I'm just like, yeah, I don't, can I swear on this? Like, yeah. I don't fuck with writer's block. Like, that doesn't belong to me,
You're not claiming that energy.
No, it's like truly.
I love that. I love that. When you're writing as well, do you feel that it's like you have like a real sense of control on everything that's coming out, or do you find that it kind of everything just kind of reveals itself to you as you're going? Because I've had people say like very contrasting things. Some people are like, yeah, it's very like meticulous and I'm thinking of everything that's coming out, and others saying it just flows totally naturally. What's it like for you?
Yeah, it totally surprises me what comes out. I've said this before too. Like, I feel like some lines are like totally divine intervention. Something is flowing through me that is, spitting out this line, because sometimes I'll like look at the line and be like, I don't think I would have ever said that in my spoken word. Like, these are not things that I would necessarily like think to put together unless I'm like in that really creative flow and it's just like coming out. But sometimes I'll like think of a phrase or whatever and I'll write it in my notes app and stumble upon it months later and then use that as an inspiration to start, from a new perspective in my life, start a song with that phrase that came months before. So I don't know. It's abstract.
And so you mentioned obviously having like a little bank of lines and things that you can come back.
Yeah.
You also have like a bank of songs that like, do you ever go back to those songs that you maybe put away when you have writer's block like ages later and come back?
Yeah.
And, oh, I can rework this. Like
Totally. Yeah, I have so many songs in my voice memos. Like, it's ridiculous because I've been writing songs since I was 12. So it's like, and I have my same, voice memo, since I was 12. So, when I'm on an airplane or something, I'll like go listen to them. And it's funny too, is I was talking about this recently too. Like, when I'm listening to like the original voice memo, like the first time the song is recorded. And, like then, we go through the album process, we release it, whatever, it's being received. Sometimes I'd be like listening to the original one and be like, wow, like I am hearing this so differently. Like if I had written the song now, I would have taken it in a different direction. And I feel like now I feel like I want to re-record my old songs because I am at a different place than I was, and I would have, I don't know, like the master would sound very different. But I guess like, I don't know, you got to make room for new songs to come. So if you re-recorded like every song that you had that urge to, you wouldn't get anything new out there. So you just gotta like let it go, I guess.
Yeah, not everyone's Taylor Swift. You can't all do Taylor.
I
know. If you could take the credit for one lyric and say that you wrote that, you came up with that, what one would you choose? Like, what's your favorite lyric of all time? I ask this to everyone and I absolutely love hearing everyone's answers. It's always so interesting.
Oh wow, wait. You put me on the spot here.
That's why so wow. I feel that one over a day in advance.
All right, wait. Let me think about this. Oh, I think, my big song, Something to You. I think I loved It's Not the Way That I Wanted. It's Just the Way That I'm Wanted. I liked how that came together. I don't know if that's my favorite. That's just what I'm thinking of. Oh, and on the new record, I'll say, it's this song called Matador. And the opening line is, all is fair, love is just the war you have with you, yourself, and whoever you are. And I like that one too.
Oh, I love that. That's the heavier one you said as well, that song, right?
Yeah. That one's like very Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, so that one is cool. I wrote that song about the music industry too, so yeah.
Interesting. I can't wait, I'm excited. What about a lyric from someone else? Do you have a favorite lyric written by someone else?
Whoa. That's a great question. Probably like a Paul McCartney lyric. Oh, you know what a song I love is Silly Love Songs by Wings. Let me look. I'm just curious, like, of that song, what my favorite lyric would be. Wow, you've really put me on the spot here. I'm sure people have answers to that like they have in their back pocket, but I don't.
I had somebody recite like a whole verse of this really obscure song once. It was really cool. I was like, wow, pop off.
I'm gonna say I don't know for that song. There's so many songs that come to mind, and I don't know. I'm sure like we'll end this interview and I'll be like, oh my god, it's of course this song, but I'm not thinking of it right now.
That's okay. We'll take that song as a whole.
Yeah. Silly Love Songs, great song. That was honestly a big inspiration for Love Song 100 that I realized after the fact that we recorded it. I'm like, wow, this chorus is very Silly Love Songs by Wings. And I had no idea when we were putting it down. It's just, the background vocals. I think, it's so different, but in my head, I'm like, oh, that's my ode to Paul.
Oh, that's really sweet. I like that. Just talking a little bit about live shows now, because obviously you've got quite a few coming up pretty soon. What are live shows like for you? Like, do you still find that you get really nervous beforehand? Do you like kind of zone out when you're on stage? Are you very present? Like, what's it like for you being at these live shows?
I'm not getting nervous really beforehand, unless there's some reason to be nervous, like we're playing with a new player that I don't think is prepared. Like, I don't get nervous for myself. I get nervous like if my band might not be ready to go on stage, which is never the case, but sometimes you gotta like fill in somebody, and I'm at the stage of my career where like I can't pay a really incredible whatever session musician. It's often like a friend filling in, but no, I'm not really getting nervous. I get excited. I love to perform. I used to not play guitar at all on stage, but the past year I've been playing. So I think that gives me something to do with my hands, which, like I'm not really thinking about what to do with my hands, which used to be a big problem. I hated that.
Yeah, I get really awkward and start thinking about every little movement.
Yeah, so that's like fixed that problem. Yeah, and then, I sell my merch after the show too. So like if somebody wants to come say hey to me after, like that's a nice part of the show is like I get to like chat and I'm not just like in the back packing up. I used to just like zoom to the back and leave. Yeah, it's just a joyful experience and it's fun, and I think when people like start to like know the words to the songs that have been out for longer, that's really sweet. And that now it's been like 2 years, so some of my older songs like people know like kind of well. Yeah, we just have fun. I have a good time.
Do you remember the first gig you ever played? What was that like?
I do. I was 12 years old. I wrote a song for my 6th grade graduation. And I made a band at school called the Musical Dorks. And yeah, I sang an original song that I wrote at my 6th grade graduation.
That's really cool. I think a lot of people can't say that. That's very, very cool at 12 to be doing that.
Yeah, I didn't even like think anything of it. I was just like, yeah, I want to do this. Like, let's put a little group together. It was like a 7-piece band. We had like flute, piano, shakers, drums, bass, like 2 guitars, piano. It was a big. I know. Yeah, it was cool. There's a video of it on YouTube. It has like a decent amount of views.
Yeah, from the start.
Yes.
What song are you most looking forward to playing live off the new album, the new shows? What are you most excited for?
We've played this one a couple times since we've wrote it. But Matador, which is the song I referenced before, just because it's so like there's I don't know if you listened. I think I sent you the link, but it has this like hard like drum parts like da-na, and then all these like drum fills. It's cool. It's like very just, I don't know. I get really into it when we play. And then I love playing Love Song 100. We did like a college show recently, and when Luke started playing like the intro riff on guitar, people were like running down the hill to like come dance to it. So like that was really sweet. It just has like a nice dancing energy. I think these songs are more danceable than my past discography, so I'm like looking forward to like seeing people move a little bit more. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
That story about people running down, that's so...
It was so cute, and I was like, do they think it's another song? Like, this song isn't even out yet. But yeah, it was cool.
Oh, that's lovely. My last question for this evening, like, thank you so much again for taking the time. This has been so lovely.
Of course.
Last question is, what are you most looking forward to for the rest of 2025? What's the thing that you're most excited for?
Wow. I'm moving back to New York next month, so I'm really excited about that. I just had a couple months off while we were doing this album. And I think I'm just like excited about what's next. Like, I'm still an independent artist, just like hustling about. So, just looking forward to continuing the grind, and hopefully some things will manifest. Got my fingers crossed here. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to answer. I'm looking forward to these shows and, people hearing the new songs, obviously. But, just to keep chugging along.
So it's like life is good, and we're looking forward to that.
Yes, life is good. I'm looking forward to life.
Is there anything you'd like to add before we finish up for this evening?
Well, I know that you're in the UK, but if, your viewers or whoever you're post this video for is in New York City on July 3rd. I have a show at the Sultan Room in Brooklyn. So that's the next show. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, come see a show, listen to the album. That's all I got.
Maybe I'll see you at a UK show. So
maybe one day.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe one day.
Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been lovely.
Thank you for having me. That was such a nice conversation. Well, have a great day. I am now going to be having dinner.
Lovely. I'm going to go to bed soon, I think.
Yes. Good night.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again.